A quiet neighborhood enjoys a cool Wednesday morning in the Victor Valley region of Southern California. I'm in a place called Hesperia, a well-populated city 35 miles north of San Bernardino. This town was once rated as the most boring city in the entire state. Clearly those who made that decision weren't rail fans, because running right through the middle of town is the BNSF Cajon subdivision. This pleasant morning finds me set up just around the corner from the Bear Valley Road overpass at milepost 42 just to see what I could catch, and boy was I in for some neat surprises. The day's rail fanning began about 5 minutes after I showed up, as a Union Pacific manifest rounded the corner in the distance. These Union Pacific mixed freights are always interesting. This one was made even more so by the last locomotive in the 5-unit lash-up on the top, which is a C40-8W, a truly rare sight in 2017. As I waited between trains, this CHP helicopter buzzed overhead, keeping a watchful eye on motorists traversing the busy streets below. Charging up the hill at a respectable clip, these 4 GEs have an intermodal train well in hand as they roar past the camera. With such a high frequency of trains on this line, one can always expect to see a surprise, as was the case with the next train I saw. Trailing in the second and third position on this intermodal are a pair of CSX motors lending their horsepower to keep the tonnage moving up the grade through town. As the train rolls away from the camera, it's now a couple miles closer to its destination. Meanwhile, on track 1, an eastbound train comes into view. As the tail end of 7685 East disappears around the corner, things get spiced up a bit with an 8-unit power move heading west. Some people would refer to this as a light engine move, which I find a bit humorous, because these 8 locomotives coupled together weigh almost a combined total of 3.5 million pounds, and there's nothing light about that. Also, check out the second locomotive in Heritage 1 paint, another rarity these days. As you may have figured out by now, BNSF intermodals are extremely common on the Cajon sub, and this is no exception. Here we see one headed east with the ET44C4 on the point. I looked at my phone and saw the time and realized that it was about time for me to call it a day. But the signal in the distance was lit up and it wasn't red, so I decided to stick around to see what was coming, and boy am I glad I did. Around the curve came a Union Pacific train, with another CSX locomotive thrown into the mix in the second position. But despite this, I was most intrigued by the locomotive on the head end, a GE AC4460CW convertible. The AC4460s were built with a 4,400 horsepower engine and later intended to be converted to a 6,000 horsepower engine, but this never happened, so to this day the AC4460s remain as 4,400 horsepower units. Another feature of these units are their unique K3HL air horns, giving these interesting locomotives a distinctive voice. All the cars on this unit tank car train were carrying placard number 1987, which according to the hazmat book indicates some form of alcohol is being transported. I suspect that this is an ethanol train. Ethanol is just a fancy word for fermented corn squeezes. As the DPU on the back of the ethanol train chugged into the distance, it was time for me to head off. I had had a fantastic time railfanning in Hesperia on this fine morning, and will definitely be back soon. For now, I'm TrainTrackTrav. I'll see you trackside. Thanks for watching.